video of crazy designs in...
Stupid.
I was being generous.
Ridiculous.
So this is one of those things that I find really interesting, is how there is not standardization of some of the functions in cars. You know, the fuel tank lid, the bonnet, the hood, opening it up, the emergency brakes.
Yeah.
Different car companies have different logic and different ways of doing things. And sometimes you get into things and you're working with the idea from another vehicle. You know, a handbrake. Is it a handbrake that physically has a little button on it and you pull it up and release it? Is it on the floor? Once you've engaged it, how do you disengage it? How do you engage it to start with? Yeah. I've had vehicles where I've been able to figure that out.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You sent the one of the Dodge Charger, or was that a Challenger?
It was a Challenger, but I imagine they'll be the same on the Challenger.
I think all of those products, all those Dodge products, those Chrysler products, are the same. Yeah. I think they all use that, because when you did that, and what it was is, it's got the emergency brake, it's got the foot pedal, and you pump the foot pedal down and you put it all the way down, and you hear that click, 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 and it's down on the floor, and now your emergency brake, your parking brake's engaged. The question is, how do you get rid of it? One of the simple ways is usually there's a little hand toggle that you pull. But on that model, actually, I think it's all of them, you push it right down and it releases it.
Yep.
But your instinct is to go and pull the hand toggle. Well, the hand toggle that's right beside it opens the hood.
Well, the worst thing is that for me, and I was wearing trainers at the time, when I then push my foot down and then my foot comes back up, my toe, I've got like size 12 UK, so 13 US feet, which is pretty normal these days. Yeah. My toe catches the bonnet pull. So on releasing the parking brake, the bonnet comes up. So I've got to put the parking brake back on, go out, close the bonnet, get back in the car, and then
redo it again.
Carefully make sure I don't. Ridiculous.
You got to wonder that whole design mechanism. What are they thinking? And my thought is, hey, we've been using this forever. Let's just keep doing it because the technology is easy. We know how it works, and we've got a mechanical system that just does it.
Yeah, I mean, parking brake is slowly creeping into my vocabulary, but it's always been a handbrake.
Yeah.
Because
I always call it a parking brake.
It was
which makes sense because it's a hand, but.
Yeah. So handbrake and it's slowly creeping. Parking brake over the last 9 years of being here, slowly creeping in, and you know the Touareg had it when I was at VW in the UK, and you know, press the pedal with your foot and then you pull the lever.
Yeah.
But come on. What? And the worst thing is on some, so like on the Nissans and the Kias and stuff, and I think it might even say it on there. It says it on the Dodge one. I'm sure it does. It tells you to push to release. Well, if it's having to tell you how to operate the most basic after the ignition key, which doesn't exist anymore in that car, but after the key, after starting the engine, if you've got to be told how to release the parking brake, then it's a bad design. It should be intuitive. You know. Why?
And it's an old school looking thing too. I mean, I just don't get it. Everything else we look at these, I mean, it's a button start. There's no key any longer. Yet you've got this manual, push it down, and on it in fine print that you got to read, because a lot of people have no idea how this works. They're coming from you got to push it to release it.
But there's a cable, and it's further away from the back brakes, which is usually what they're holding, whereas the handbrake would be next to you, so it's closer, so the cable's shorter. But then the cable's got to go off the ratchet mechanism all the way around. There's got to then be a return spring and damper to push the pedal back and to stop it going. And
the chance of disaster is there. There's more pieces to break.
I don't get it. I just don't get it.
They've modernized so much of the vehicle, but that little bit has not come onto anyone's radar.
Frustrated. Really frustrating.
And why wouldn't it just be an electronic system anyway? You push the button, it applies the brakes. I mean,
I'm guessing it's to stop people handbrake turning.
Well,
because I mean, I don't know. Well, look, as
Smokey and the Bandit,
as a lad growing up at home, going down the car park, you know, waiting for my next delivery from the Chinese takeaway that I worked at, and just doing a few handbrake turns with my mates when we just passed our test. I mean, that was, you know, that was what we used to do.
I'm sure my son.
And it's usually wet or icy in the UK.
There we go.
So it's like immense.
That's what my son was doing into the parking lot of the old ASD and the old Wrangler, for sure. The way the tires were chewed up, you had to be doing handbrake turns.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't do it with a foot pedal.
No.
Not an on-off one as well.
Can you imagine? You're trying to do that. It's like, yeah, it ain't working.
So, but I mean, what else is the reason for that? It's more expensive to make that way, surely.
I'd like to think that's the reason, but I think it's just lazy.
But it must be more expensive. It must be. It's so much easier to have a lever here because then the cable just goes straight and then splits to the back.
But what's in that middle part? What do they got sitting there?
Hopes and dreams.
Yeah, hopes and dreams.
I don't know. I mean,
a cup holder. There's a cup holder there.
Yeah, but
maybe the transmission gets too warm and they don't want to have the cable beside the transmission because it's going to heat up and lose integrity. No,
it makes no sense. Well, I mean,
put back the bench seat at that point.
They're bad enough on the sort of the older stuff, and the Jaguars are one that kept it on for ages, where you've got to pull it on a lever, but because it's on the between the driver's seat and the door.
Yeah.
The lever can't stay up because then you wouldn't be able to get out of the car.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
So then it drops back down. So then you get in the car, the lever's down. So you don't know, and then you drive, feels a bit squeaky today, no power.
Then you realise.
Oh, hang on, yeah, that red light on there. So then you've got to pull it even higher than you'd already pulled it, but you've already pulled it really high because you're on a hill. So then you've got to pull it really high, then the cable breaks and it drops back down and one side's still stuck on. It's shocking, really. I don't understand. Why is it not in the middle?
Yeah.
Why is it not in the middle? Or, I mean, this Challenger was a 2015.
All right, so it's not
Why
old,
is it not
but
electric?
not new. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's my thinking. Why is
the electric parking brakes? They were trouble when they first came out because they were an idea. They were a thinly veiled, basically gimmick. They thinly veiled it behind the idea of, well, when you apply a handbrake and your brakes are very hot, there's no one to go back and reapply it when the disc cools down and it shrinks and the cars roll away, and it was happening.
All right, I get that.
You know, San Francisco, I imagine.
I
people,
guess.
You know,
That's never happened to me ever.
No, but that was
Has it ever happened to you?
As I say, thinly veiled.
Does it ever happen to you?
No.
No. DJ, get him on the phone. We'll find out.
So, you know, you get. The parking brake will then reapply itself after 20 minutes or so and make sure that that's great, fantastic, great idea, no problem. But they had their problems. The amount of cars we saw, and it was the Passat 2006, the 3C model that had it on first for the VWs, and time after time they'd come in, we'd have to change the switch or we'd have to change the caliper or whatever it was. But they got it and sorted it, and it's sorted now, and they don't fail really, as long as the brake repairs are done properly and they're wound back with the diagnostic tool or through the service menu on the car. There's never going to be a problem with it.
Look, you get the Airbus or the Boeing people to work on it because they fly-by-wire everything on these aircraft. Yeah. Technology's there, people.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about it. You can run it off a single wire. You could do it on a Lin circuit as long as there's a power and ground for the motor. Yeah. No problem. You can maintain communication through Lin, and it's less maintenance and cheaper to produce than the freaking foot pedal. What is that? And then I honestly, yesterday, twice it got me. The first time I thought that's my fault for being too fast. Yeah. But then I did it. The second time I thought, no, hang on. I was conscious of that happening, and I'd put my foot lower down and I'd pressed it, and then as I brought my foot back up, I had nowhere to go but the bottom of the dashboard, and it just pulled the bonnet release. And it's like perfectly angled. All right, put the bonnet release the other side. Yeah, I'm not going to move my foot. What's that? Yeah. So anyway, that's just frustrating. Like the